Hello, everyone, and welcome to the College Admissions Collaborative, highlighting engaging engineering and technology virtual college fair. We thank you for joining us tonight. Just a few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time over the next 45 minutes. Your camera and microphone are turned off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of multiple different sessions happening this evening, so please be sure to sign up for additional sessions happening after this. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at strivescan.com/CACHET. And now I would like to turn it over to our first presenter of the evening, and that is Case Western Reserve University.
All right, thank you so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Amani Green, and I'm an admission counselor at Case Western Reserve. And I will do my presentation now. Let me pull it up on the screen. Let's make sure you can see it. There we go. All righty. So Case Western Reserve, we're located in Cleveland, Ohio. And one really cool thing about our program is that you have access to all of the programs of study if you are admitted to Case Western Reserve. So we have a single door admission policy, which means that you're not applying to a specific program or major or school. We have 4 schools: the School of Nursing, the School of Engineering, the Weatherhead School of Management, and the College of Arts and Sciences. And if you're admitted to our university, you have access to all 4 schools. The only caveat is a music education or music major requires an audition. That's the additional kind of application you have to do for those majors. But other than that, if you're admitted to our university, you have the access to a broad spectrum of programs of study, which you can combine, mix and match. I know some students who are double major, triple minors. So really a lot of opportunities for you there. One of the really unique things about our campus is we have the largest open access makerspace on our campus. And that is oh, I think my video was out. Okay, sorry about that. So the Think Box is 50,000 square feet, 7 stories of makerspace. So that has everything from 3D printers to sewing machines to water jet cutters. I didn't even know what that was before I saw it in the Think Box, but it's really a place where you can create regardless of your major. So Badar Kayani, who's pictured here, actually used ThinkBox to create a machine that helps to sanitize a N95 mask in about a minute. And usually it takes up to hours to do that. So he's really doing something that's really relevant right now in the forefront for the medical field, especially during this time with the pandemic. And they are hopefully going to roll out these SUDS machines, as they call it, in hospitals nearby. Badar is actually graduating this spring and going to do a master's at Case Western Reserve. And he actually wants to start his own kind of ThinkBox in his home country of Pakistan. So really cool things are happening at ThinkBox in Case Western Reserve. Research is also a big thing at Case Western Reserve. We're a top-tiered research institution, but we only have around 5,200 undergraduates. That means that we have so many opportunities, this big-time research, and we want undergraduates to get involved in it. Research opportunities are available from your first year on campus. You don't have to apply to get involved in research. You just go to our source office and get involved. And pictured here, Chris Carr, he graduated in 2019. He actually became pretty famous in the scientific world for discovering a galaxy during his time at Case Western Reserve. That's right, he found a galaxy based on data that he was going over with Professor Chris Mijos, who is an astronomy professor at Case Western Reserve. They were looking at data from the Kitt Peak National Observatory in Arizona, and he found what looked like a coffee smudge, but turned out to be a galaxy. So he is credited for finding that. And that's really what we mean by our motto, which is think beyond the possible. You're really getting access to amazing opportunities. And as an undergraduate, you're not waiting to become a professional to do that. You're doing it as an undergraduate. Now, our campus is located in an area called University Circle, and that is about 5 miles west of downtown Cleveland. If you can see on the slide in the top right is the city of Cleveland. We have 3 hospitals right next to our campus. So if you're interested in pre-med, this is a haven for that. You have opportunities to shadow and do research at all 3 hospitals, as well as the other surrounding hospitals in the area. We have 3 museums right on our campus: the Museum of Contemporary Art, the Cleveland Museum of Art, and the Natural History Museum, which are all open for fun opportunities and also for things that'll build your career. So if you're interested in art history, you'll take classes in the Cleveland Museum of Art. If you're interested in anything from evolutionary biology to digging up dinosaur bones, you can obviously do some kind of internship at the Natural History Museum. So really cool opportunities within the city of Cleveland and also specifically in University Circle, where Case Western Reserve is located. And we prepare students really well for after they graduate. So as you can see, the vast majority of our students are engaged full-time after graduating within 6 months. A lot of them are going on to graduate in professional school. So that includes medical school, dental school, law school, getting their PhD. A lot are getting their master's. And the people who are going straight into the workforce are actually working in an area that's directly related to what they studied in college. So you're not going into a different area and not using your degree. You're using your degree from that time that you start working. And then finally, here's some information. We are going to be test optional for the next 2 application seasons. We began this year. We do have need-based financial aid and merit-based scholarships. And then our deadlines are on the bottom of the screen. And my contact information is here as well. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I'm happy to help. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Amani. Next up, we have the Colorado School of Mines.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Luke Contreras. I am an assistant director of admissions at Colorado School of Mines. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I'm gonna get my PowerPoint all ready to go. There we go. So Colorado School of Mines is located in beautiful Golden, Colorado. We are about 25, 30 minutes outside of downtown Denver. Golden is that perfect place to kind of get that small mountain town feel, but also have the connections to the big city. It is a community that is thriving about earth, energy, and environment. And it really does support, and it really is a great place to spend those collegiate years right at the foot of the Rockies, an hour and a half from the best skiing and winter sports, as well as great access to all the big events that happen at a city like beautiful Denver, Colorado. Now, I want to give you the full Colorado School of Mines experience. So I'm going to put on my ore digger hard hat because we are a little bit different. At Colorado School of Mines, we like to use the phrase, we love tradition, but we aren't traditional. And so what I mean by that is this: we were founded in 1874. We have a 147-year legacy in beautiful Golden, Colorado, in the great state of Colorado, but we are a purely STEM institution. All of our degrees fall under the big umbrella of science, technology, engineering, and math, as well as an economics and business program. So as you see, of all the 39 majors that Mines provides, they are going to be in and under that big umbrella of STEM. You're going to find and get to opportunities to, see big, well-known degrees and well-known disciplines like mechanical, civil, environmental engineering. You're going to get to explore and expose to some unique academic areas of study like geophysical engineering, petroleum engineering. At Mines, we are actually launching 2 new degrees this year. One is called Quantitative Biosciences and Engineering. We call it QBE for short because that's a long name. And that is a great degree for somebody who wants to get involved in the engineering, with kind of combine engineering with pre-med and biomedical sciences. A lot of the QBE classes will be around like prosthetic development, as well as developing winter sports gear for people with physical disabilities. It's kind of a insider knowledge to that degree, as well as our business and engineering management degree, which is kind of a cool way how the engineering world and the business world intertwine. At Minds, we're only 6,500 total students. I like to call it the Goldilocks University. Not too big, not too small, just right. 5,000 undergrads, 1,500 graduate students. But really what I like to say is there are 6,500 passionate, driven future STEM professionals at our institution. And we believe that the education at Minds can truly take you anywhere. Average starting salary of $72,000 is a testament to the industry in which we are connected with, as well as the powerful education that you will get at our cool little institution on the west side of Denver. The number one thing is hands-on learning. We want you to get the skills that employers want before you graduate. So throughout your 4-year journey, starting your freshman year, you're going to be in team-based interdisciplinary classes. For example, Cornerstone is a class your freshman year where you will get posed a real-world engineering problem and be asked to solve it. For example, last year, 2019, the Colorado Department of Transportation and the Bureau of Land Management said, hey, Colorado has an invasive species problem, solve it. That's all they said. So our students did some research and found out that zebra mussels, little mini clams that attach themselves to the bottom of boats, if you recreate or recreational go boating in one reservoir and then go do it at another reservoir, there's a chance that you can cross-contaminate those two ecosystems with the zebra mussel. So our students developed a spray that you can spray at the bottom of your boat, on the pontoons of your seaplane, and that way, if you were to go from one lake to another, the zebra mussels cannot attach themselves to the bottom of your marine transportation. That's what you get to do your first year at Colorado School of Mines. And as you progress through your sophomore year, your junior year, your senior year, you'll have capstone class, where students are designing Formula One race cars, are developing Hyperloop pods, and as well as converting VW buses from gas to electric. Truly, you get the opportunities to get your hands dirty and truly explore what that STEM future of yours would be like if you went to a school like Colorado School of Mines. At Minds, we use something called the holistic review, which means we want to know you. We want to get to know the I call it the who behind the you, who you are, whether it's where you go to high school, the kind of classes you took in high school, the rigor of the classes you took in high school. Are you involved? Do you work? Do you volunteer? All of those factors are extremely important when looking at a future ore digger and coming onto our campus in Colorado. Obviously, academics are very important. As you see on the slide, these are our middle 50%, not minimums, not requirements, middle 50%. So what that means is these are good numbers to aim for as you look at applying to Colorado School of Mines. I want to say thank you to every one of you for joining us this afternoon, and head to our website to learn a little bit more about potential visit opportunities this summer.
Thank you, Luke. Next up, we are going to hear from Harvey Mudd.
Great, thank you very much. So my name is Tira Briggs, and I'm the Vice President for Admission and Financial Aid at Harvey Mudd. And yes, you're going to hear a lot about STEM today, and so hopefully each of us will do a good job at telling you a little bit about what makes us stand out among all of these colleges. First, right here on the slide, you see that we are known as the Liberal Arts College of Engineering, Science, and Math, and that's because while we only offer majors in the STEM fields, and we only offer 10 majors, we are at heart a liberal arts college, and so I'm going to show you a little bit about how that works. We're located about 35 miles east of Los Angeles, California, the third largest city in the country, an amazingly diverse and exciting place to go to campus. We are about to go to college. We're about 45 minutes to places like the beaches and to places like Disneyland, into downtown LA. We are also in the foothills of the San Gabriel Mountains, and it's an absolutely gorgeous area. So we are close to just about everything. We're about an hour west of Palm Springs in the desert, so it's an amazing area. Claremont, California is known as the city of trees. Its unofficial nickname is the city of trees and PhDs. And that is largely because we are part of something called the Claremont Colleges. And essentially what that is 5 undergraduate colleges and 2 graduate institutions, all located in 1 square mile. And the amazing piece of this is that once you are admitted to any one of the Claremont colleges, you can take advantage of everything at all of the Claremont colleges. And so you have about 2,500 courses to choose from every year, 6,000 students total, plus 3,000 graduate students. We share resources where it makes sense to share. Every student at Harvey Mudd won't graduate without taking many courses at the other Claremont colleges, 250 different clubs and organizations. Your ID card gets you into the dining halls on any of the institutions. So again, this idea of sort of the best of both worlds, all the advantages of a small liberal arts college, but in the context of the resources of small to mid-sized university. The Harvey Mudd mission is really the heart of everything we do, and it is all about the balance of very high level work in the STEM fields in the context of this liberal arts education. You'll see some of our basic details there. We are a small school, 900 undergraduates. We're very proud of the fact that we are 50% female and 50% male, not something you often find at technical institutions, and we have an 8-to-1 student faculty ratio. Curriculum has 3 different parts to it. The first part is the core curriculum, the major, and then the humanities, social sciences, and the arts. Here you see our core curriculum. I like to show this slide to students who are interested in STEM because usually they're very excited about taking all of these courses. We do have a requirement that before you get to us that you've already taken a year of calculus, a year of chemistry, and a year of physics. This allows us to sort of ratchet up the start of the core curriculum so you're not going to spend your first year at Harvey Mudd recreating what you're going to do in your last year of high school, but you're going to study in every single department we offer. And as a liberal arts college, you don't have to know what you want to study before you come to Harvey Mudd. You're not going to declare your major until the end of your sophomore year. There are the majors, 10 different majors, all in math, science, and engineering. I'm just going to call out our engineering major very quickly. And that's because it's not a traditional engineering major. You don't major in mechanical or civil engineering. You major in engineering. And we do that very intentionally so that when you graduate, you're not pigeonholed into only one aspect of engineering. You can actually go on in any area, and you can use your electives within the major to focus in on something specific, and most students will do that. But the most important part is we teach you how to learn, how to think, and how to problem solve as an engineer, so that when you graduate, there's no shelf life on your degree. HSA, Humanities, Social Sciences, and Arts. This is also something that makes us stand out, in that about 1/3 of your curriculum will be in the HSA areas. And students choose to come to Harvey Mudd because they don't want to give up all of the other things that they want to study. And every student will declare a concentration, essentially just short of a minor in some aspect of HSA. All of our students do research. I know there's often a concern about how a small liberal arts college can offer the same kind of research opportunities that a larger university would. This is where it matters that we're entirely undergraduate, no competition for graduate students, for your faculty attention, for research opportunities. All students will do research, often starting in their first year. I want to highlight in your senior year, you will either do a senior thesis or you'll take part in something we have called the clinic program, where companies like the ones you see listed here, as well as SpaceX and Disney, they pay Harvey Mudd each year to have our students in groups of 4 or 5 take on real life research problems for them. 10 to 12 patents come out of these projects every year, and often they will turn into full-time jobs for our students as well. That's really the core of Harvey Mudd right there, support, collaboration, and the honor code. It's a very rigorous place. We are one of a handful of colleges to have a student-run honor code. All of our exams are take-home, unproctored. We have a lot of trust among our faculty, our staff, and our students. And it is absolutely a collaborative environment and not a competitive environment. It is not a what'd you get kind of environment. So you'll work hard, but it'll be in the spirit of a collaborative and supportive environment. This is our newest building. We'll be opening very soon, our McGregor Computer Science Center. 36,000 square feet. The entire first floor will be a brand new makerspace that we're very excited about. We're actually not trying to grow our computer science program. It's quite large already, but it is going to give a new home to our faculty members, to our clinic spaces, as well as to this makerspace. Outcomes for Harvey Mudd, as you're hearing from all of us, are pretty extraordinary. Harvey Mudd actually has the highest return on investment rating of any college university in the country, and the highest average mid-career salary of graduates of any college university in the country. $112,000 is our median starting salary. The reason I think our students do so well, obviously STEM helps, but also they know how to write, they know how to communicate, they know how to work collaboratively, and they know how to work across disciplines. And so I will stop there and turn it back over. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tara. Next up, we are going to hear from Kettering University.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Hopefully we can all see this. My name is Bree Baker. I'm an admissions counselor at Kettering University, located in Flint, Michigan. A little bit about Kettering. We are a very niche STEM institution. We were actually, before we were Kettering University, we were GMI, the General Motors Institute. So everybody who worked at GMI or that wanted to work at GM actually started at GMI, and they would do a rotation between school and co-op, which is something that we still have in place today. In 1998, we actually changed our name to Kettering University, kind of loosened our ties with GM a little bit. But with that being said, we still have roots in automotive, and we've expanded to over 400 employers, not just in automotive, but in, if you want to go into insurance, the medical field, education. I mean, you name it, we've got students in that industry. So as I mentioned, we are very niche in what it is that we do. We only offer 9-degree programs, and they're all listed right here. Just to highlight a few, mechanical engineering is probably our largest. That's about 60% of our student body. Computer science is probably one of our fastest growing. In fact, computer science was Ford Motor Company's biggest hire last year. They hired the most computer science students from Kettering than they have in the past. Other majors that you see here, much like Harvey Mudd was mentioning before, we do have an engineering systems major. What's really great about this is that it kind of goes across disciplines, right? So we're finding as students go into the corporate world, as they're going into their industries, people aren't just looking for mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, or computer engineers, right? They're kind of looking for that cross-disciplinary education. So that is definitely something that you could pursue here. Another thing that a lot of people don't know is that we have a pre-med course of study. So if you would like to major in any of these programs, you can go on to med school after you graduate. So a little bit about the classroom. We have about 2,300 students enrolled at Kettering. But with that being said, we only have half of our students on campus at a time. So we actually take our student body and divide it into 2 different sections. We have an A section and a B section. So A section will come in and they will start class in July. They're on campus for 3 months. Our terms are actually 11 weeks long, as opposed to 16 weeks long that most other universities may have. So come October, they'll actually start their first paid co-op position. In January, they're back at school. And in April, they're back at their co-op. B section is the exact opposite. A B section student has the potential to start their co-op before they even step foot in the classroom. Some students may opt to take a longer summer, and they'll just start school in October, and they'll either start their co-op in January or return to their co-op in January, then go back to school in April. So you're constantly going back and forth. We are a 4.5-year program. But really the big reason why we did this, again, it was something that was kind of handed down to us from our GMI roots. But we found that if you ask any person in any field, where'd you learn the most about your job? They're probably going to tell you on the job, right? So here at Kettering, we firmly believe in the marriage between rigorous academics and relevant work experience. So you wouldn't, if you're going to play soccer for the first time, you wouldn't just read Soccer for Dummies and go play your first game and hope for the best, right? You'd probably read Soccer for Dummies, but then you go to practice and you'd run drills and you get to know your teammates. And that's exactly what we do here at Kettering. So all of our students are, regardless of their major, are required to do at least 5 terms of a paid co-op to graduate. So with that being said, it is built in that students can get 7 to 9 co-op terms. So that comes out to actually 2.5 years of paid experience in your field before you even graduate. And that gives you about 2 more years of experience than other places that you may offer internships or different co-ops or things like that. So you come out with that beginner level experience right out the gate. And what's really nice is the money you make at your co-op is yours to spend however you'd like. So if you want to buy a used fire truck, refurbish it, sell it, and buy another used fire truck like one kid did, you absolutely can do that. That's a real story. And I think he's the reason students are allowed 4 parking spots on campus. But we recommend taking that money and putting it back towards tuition, right? As much as you can. Pay that off while you're in school so you have less of that debt when you graduate. So on average, students are making about $15.50 an hour. A lot of our co-op positions are located in Southeast Michigan. But with that being said, we really have partners across the nation. So if you want to check out Ohio, Chicago, New York, California, Nevada, there are opportunities to do that. So this is just a list of some of our employers here. What's really nice, not only is pay competitive, but a lot of other benefits are coming along too with a lot of these companies. So many of them may provide housing stipends, they may provide housing, they may provide travel stipends. Some of these companies are even allowing students to start their 401k as early as their freshman year, which at 17 or 18 might not be a big deal, but when you're retiring as a millionaire, you're going to be really happy that you had that opportunity. So again, this is real work experience. I've had students working in industrial engineering that have found ways to save companies $50,000 a month. I've found, I've had students that have worked on software for autonomous vehicles, just a lot of really great things that are coming out of that department. So with that being said, I'll just put this up here for you to look at and I'll wrap up here. But if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you.
Thanks, Bree. Next up, we are going to hear from Lawrence Technological University.
Thank you so much. Welcome everybody. My name is Erin Burklow. I am a senior admissions counselor at Lawrence Technological University in Southfield, Michigan. And I will go ahead and just hop right into it here. There we go. So LTU was founded in 1932 by the Lawrence brothers on the motto of theory and practice, and we still hold true to that motto today. So for all LTU students, the theory side of that motto means that we want to make sure that we are giving our students the theoretical knowledge that they need to be successful post-grad in their industry. And then as for the practice side, we have an extremely strong focus on hands-on education. So on the screen, you'll see a list of ways that we kind of encompass that motto of theory and practice, like our senior and quest projects. We have competition teams like our Double Motorsports. About 75% of our students do choose to participate in a co-op or internship during their time at LTU. Another huge part of our campus are the lab and studio spaces that we have to offer. That hands-on education style really does come through in those studio spaces and lab spaces where students are working on real-world applications and industry-sponsored projects at the undergraduate level starting day one freshman year. Here we have a little bit about the learning environment that you'll experience at Lawrence Tech as a student. So if you're accepted to Lawrence Tech, you are automatically accepted into your major. So there's no separate application that you'll fill out. There are no years of only taking prerequisite courses. You will start your major-based courses day one freshman year. Our courses are only taught by faculty, so we don't have teaching assistants or graduate assistants teaching our courses. And at LTU, we are a small private university. So with that small size, we have an average class size of just about 15 to 20 students, and we have an 11-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So all LTU students across the board are going to get one-on-one attention in all of their classes, and you're never just going to be a face in a lecture hall full of hundreds of students. And then we also have opportunities for our students like the honors program to add additional rigor into the curriculum, and students are also able to participate in opportunities like service learning and study abroad. So at Lawrence Tech, we have 4 colleges that house all of our majors. We have the College of Architecture and Design, the College of Arts and Sciences, the College of Business and Information Technology, and last but not least, the College of Engineering. So while we were founded as a College of Engineering back at our start in 1932, we now offer over 100 different degree programs in these 4 areas of study. There is a full list on our website with additional information, and then we are also currently offering virtual program overviews this spring. We dive a little bit deeper into all of our majors with our faculty, so you can check those out on our website too. Next up, I'm going to pop up some information on the admissions process. So in order to make a decision on an application, what we need is a completed application. We have ours on the website, also on the Common App. We need your official high school transcript and a personal essay. We did decide to go fully test optional for the fall 2021 and the 2022 semester. So we are not requiring an ACT or SAT score be submitted. With that, if you do have an ACT or SAT score, feel free to send it in. It's never going to negatively impact you in any way. However, just know that we are test optional. When we make decisions on applications that are submitted, we do that in a holistic review. So while we do review a recalculated core weighted GPA, your essay, and your application in its entirety, we also look at things like a student's grade trend, so how you're progressing throughout your high school career. We look at the strength of your curriculum and the rigor of your senior schedule. I do like to mention we are rolling admissions, so there's technically no deadline to apply. However, we always encourage students to submit sooner rather than later, just so that we can do a quick application and scholarship review. And then last portion, if any students have taken AB or IB exams or completed dual enrollment during their high school career, that's awesome. Just make sure you send in those test scores and those college transcripts, and we will review for potential transfer. So here we have some really great scholarship opportunities for our incoming students. So we do have academic scholarships. With that, since we have decided to go test optional for the fall 2021 and 2022 semesters, we now automatically review all accepted students for merit scholarships. So our scholarship review committee is conducting a merit-based holistic review for each accepted student, and those merit scholarships will range from $4,500 per year all the way up to $16,000 per year for 4 years. In lieu of a merit scholarship, students can also participate in Raise Me, which is a program where students can earn micro scholarships for high school achievements. Additionally, we do allow students to earn 2 institutional scholarships. So on the screen, you can see a pretty full list of all of the institutional options for students that you can possibly earn. So we have institutional scholarships like our full ride tuition scholarships, the Buell and the Donnelly. We have VEX and First Robotics scholarships. We have a National Blue Devil scholarship for out-of-state students. We have a STEM Scholar Award and many more. There is a link up top where you can see a full list of our institutional scholarships. We do have 4 housing units on our campus. East Residence Hall is brand new freshman only housing. Royce is community style for upperclassmen, and Donnelly and South Housing are apartments for upperclassmen and transfer students. So we don't require any students to live on campus unless you're a committed varsity athlete on scholarship, but we do encourage living on campus, and we think it's really beneficial for our students. Perks to living on campus: laundry is free, parking is free, and anyone can have a car, but if you don't have a car, that's okay. We have something called Tech Transit, where it is a free shuttle that will take LTU students anywhere they need to go off campus. Here on the screen, coming up quickly, we have a list of all of our athletic programs. We have over 30 men and women's varsity athletic programs, all of which are scholarship eligible. And then we also have over 60 student clubs and organizations at LTU. So a really wide variety of things that students can get involved with, like cultural organizations, Greek life, professional organizations, just to name a few. We have some really awesome virtual visits coming up this spring, so feel free to take a look around. We have campus tours running as well, but thank you so much, and I will pop my information in the chat if anyone.
Thanks, Erin. And last but not least, we are going to hear from Syracuse University.
Thanks so much, Kelsey. All right, good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. My name's Jonathan Hoster. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. My name's Jonathan Hoster, and I represent Syracuse University. We are located in Syracuse, New York, and we have about 15,000 undergraduate students across 10 different schools and colleges, about 10 different programs. About 25 or so of those programs are STEM majors, as you can see on the slide here. Those are mostly housed within our College of Arts and Sciences and our College of Engineering and Computer Science. We are a Research 1 or an R1 university, so that means we're at the top classification with regard to research. That means there's a lot of cutting edge research opportunities here, as well as a lot of funding for research. And we have many, many undergraduates who are engaged in research. In fact, we have an undergraduate research center that's based in our library called The Source, which is the hub for undergrad research and a great way for students, undergraduate students, to get connected with research opportunities as well as research funding. Some of our undergraduates get really involved in research. They end up presenting their research at various national conferences, co-authoring or authoring papers in research journals. And sometimes this propels them into graduate school because they decide that they really love doing research. Really amazing study abroad opportunities for Syracuse students. Pictured here, you can see Bethany Murphy. She graduated last year from our environmental engineering program. She studied abroad on several continents as an undergraduate. I lost track of everywhere that she went. You can also see by her t-shirt there, she was an Army ROTC cadet. She's currently in graduate school for water resources, and when she finishes her master's, she will be an officer in the U.S. Army. Student success and inclusive excellence is really important to us. We make sure that the whole culture here is built around supporting and encouraging our student success. That means students, your peers will support your success, and our professors and advisors are really dedicated to doing that as well. So for instance, if you're an engineering or computer science student at Syracuse, you'll be matched up with 3 advisors right away, including a success advisor, a faculty advisor in your major, as well as an engineering and computer science career advisor who will help you navigate the process of internships, co-ops, making connections with companies, doing those applications, etc. There are about 20 or so different STEM organizations. So we have a number of design teams like robotics, rocket team, drone team, several car teams that fall under SAE, including a race car team and a mini Baja off-road car team, a number of affinity groups for women, including the Society of Women Engineers and Alpha Omega Epsilon, which is the professional and social STEM sorority, and a number of affinity groups for students of color as well, including the Society of Asian Scientists and Engineers, the National Society of Black Engineers, and the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. We encourage our students to think about living learning community options as freshmen. I think this is a great way to support your success as a first-year student by living with other students who are in the same or similar majors. It allows you to do homework together and study together, and it's a great way to get off to a good start academically as a freshman. As I mentioned, you'll be matched up with a career advisor in your major right away. Our students are engaged in internships and co-ops and landing jobs all across this country and sometimes internationally. They make really good money in those positions for internships and co-ops. And so if they're somewhere not near home during one of those positions in the summer, for instance, the money they're making is typically paying for their housing wherever they're located. So moving on, I wanted to give you a little spotlight here into our Introduction to Engineering and Computer Science class. So you will be engaged with a professor in your major from the very first semester if you're an engineering or comp sci major. These are a couple examples of the introductory class. The one with the little ball in the air is a class project for mechanical engineering freshmen, where in teams they design a trebuchet, which is like a catapult, to shoot these balls into a mini basketball hoop. The professor tells them the distance for one of the trials, but not the other trials from the beginning. So they have to do some calculations when they get to the event. On the upper right is Dean Smith. He's our Dean of Engineering and Computer Science. You can tell that's a recent picture because he's teaching with a mask on. But the point here is that the freshman introductory courses are very important to us. So even our Dean of the engineering college was teaching our computer science freshmen last semester. And the bottom right is one of our civil engineering teams. As freshmen, they design, build, and test bridges in the intro class for civil engineers. One of my favorite outside the classroom things to highlight is called the Invent at SU program. It's an invention accelerator that happens during the summer. It's a 6-week program, and over those 6 weeks, students design, prototype, and pitch original inventions. Pictured here is Russell Fearon. He graduated last year with his bachelor's in mechanical engineering. He's now working on his master's in biomedical engineering. What he's holding there is the invention that he and his classmate Ricardo developed in this program. They call it the SugX. It's a smartwatch that monitors glucose levels for people with diabetes. They've gone on to several other competitions since inventing that in this program, have started a business and have done really well in that. We have a business center, or maybe I should say an entrepreneurship center called the Blackstone Launchpad on campus that'll help students with that process of starting a business, the legal resources for patenting and things like that. Before I go, I wanted to invite you to join us for one of our sample classes we have coming up. You might want to just take a quick screenshot or a picture of this. We actually have one that's starting in about a half hour, civil and environmental engineering tonight, but there's many more coming up this week and throughout April. These are designed for high school students like yourself. They're all just about an hour long on an evening. They all start at 7 o'clock Eastern. If you look at that website, ECS/SYR/EDU virtual, that will give you all the information you need to sign up for any of those classes. So again, take a screenshot or a picture. You can scribble down my email address as well. I'll be happy to help you if you have any questions about signing up for these or any other questions about Syracuse University. But these would be really great opportunities for you to connect with our professors. So thanks a lot for joining us tonight, everyone. And I will send the microphone back to Kelsey.
Thanks, Jonathan. And thank you to all of our panelists for presenting. I'm going to ask you all to join me one last time on camera to finish off the evening with one question. And that is, what is your favorite event or tradition on campus? So if you guys just want to answer in the order in which you presented, students, this is your last chance to put questions in the Q&A, and then I will wrap us up after we hear from the school.
Great, thank you, Kelsey. So Case Western Reserve University is a really long name, and it comes from two separate institutions, actually. There was Western Reserve University, which was located in Hudson, Ohio, which is about a 50-minute drive from here, and then the Case Institute of Technology. They actually came together in the 1960s to become Case Western Reserve University. So every year there is a relay from Hudson, Ohio to campus in Cleveland. And all students who want to participate can run part of the relay. And the class that wins all 4 years gets a steak and champagne dinner from the president. And the last class to do that was the class of 2011. So maybe your class will be the next one to do it.
That's awesome. Nothing wrong with a steak dinner. So at Colorado School of Mines, my favorite tradition is the M Climb. It's the very first tradition that every student participates in. If you look really closely, right at the top of Guggenheim Hall, you see a white M on the side of the hill on my virtual background. And every student that comes to Mines, you bring a 10-pound rock from home. And during your very first weekend, we march all of our incoming first years up to the M, and you actually get to place that rock there. The route that you take is lined by current students cheering you on, passing out snacks, passing out water. You'll probably hear the fight song sung like 400 times. You get the hard hat. Everyone gets the hard hat. And then your senior year, we bus you back up and you get to take a rock with you. So you bring a piece of home with you when you come to Mines, and then take a piece of Mines with you when you go on your next journey after you graduate.
Wow, we have a lot of rocks, but we haven't thought about that. That could be a good one. So Harvey Mudd, not surprisingly, I think ours is going to be at a little bit of a smaller, more intimate scale. And it may be a little cheesy, but it's something that we love. And that is that in our dining hall, we have what's called an N+1 rule of seating, which means there's always room for one more. So you may walk in and see in the dining hall a table that is meant for 8 that will have 17 people around it because they just want to hang out. And this past year, before we were virtual, we actually had an N+1 table where it just meant if you just wanted to go sit with people you didn't know and you want to just have a conversation with someone who was really engaging, then you could do that as well. So it's all about that inclusive community.
Yeah, at Kettering University, so our mascot is a bulldog and his name is General Determination. And we have a I know it's a very, very unique name. But we have a very old statue of him that people will take turns painting. So every once in a while, you'll see it painted a new color or it's still dripping a different color while other people are painting it. Sometimes I think they actually have to, it was so covered with paint, they lit it on fire at one point to burn off some of the excess paint and things like that. So that's one of my favorite traditions is General Determination.
And at Lawrence Tech, during our finals week, our Office of Student Life hosts De-Stress Fest. We know finals can be a little bit stressful and it takes a lot out of our students. So they host events throughout the whole week. They do yoga and meditation. They bring in food trucks. But my personal favorite day on campus, going off the dogs, they bring therapy puppies to campus. So you can just hang out with a bunch of puppies and de-stress from studying for finals, and if there are therapy puppies, that's where you can find me on campus. So one of the cool things they do at LTU.
At Syracuse University, our color is orange. Our mascot is the orange. This is Otto, the orange. And students get to be Otto. And so last week on Wednesday was National Orange Day, which is a celebration of the university's founding. And on that day, the seniors who are members of the mascot team get to reveal that because it's always a secret who's member of the mascot team. And I found out last week that one of my seniors in computer science has been on the mascot team all this time. I was a little upset that I didn't know that, but I was also pretty excited that she's been a part of that as a student here. So the color orange and our mascot Otto, I would say, are my favorite traditions.
Thank you all so much for sharing. It definitely makes me want to go back to school, all 6 of them. And thank you, panelists, for taking time this evening to share with our students and students and families. Thank you for joining us. When you close out of this window, there'll be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. Just remember, this was one of many sessions being hosted tonight, as well as over the next 3 days. There'll be a whole variety of sessions, so please be sure to sign up for additional ones. In about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording, as well as all of the others at strivescan.com/CACHET. Thank you all so much, and I hope everyone has a wonderful and safe evening.